for God, for country, for truth, for justice, for the Republic. NeoCrusader.com.
People stop now, listen. You don't know what you're missing. The man will take you higher and be your one desire.
Thanks for joining me on episode 15. The title of this episode is Fake News at the Bechtel-Summit. And wow, what an interesting 24 hours it's been. Today is July the 25th, 2017. And this episode was initially going to air yesterday. The president was in town, and I ran across some protesters 30 seconds from my home. Literally in my neighborhood. And I live on the outskirts of the Bechtel-Reserve. And it was an interesting day. The president being in town, obviously, in my hometown, very small, population. We're not a big town by any means, but we're one of, in my personal opinion, one of the most awesome, beautiful towns in America, in the world. But I'm digressing. I interview these people, and I guess I'm gullible. I don't know. I try to take what people tell me for the truth. And, obviously, I guess, maybe that's a bad trait to have for somebody who wants to dig into corruption and tyranny and everything like that. But I show up and I ask these people, what exactly is your take on things? Why are you here protesting? I got out of the car and there were some overtones of Soros-backed protesting. I got out of the car and immediately you could hear healthcare is a human right, not just for the rich and white. And so, that's a diversionary tactic to drive the wedge, the divide and conquer, pile every, Caucasian in America into the privileged class because, hey, just because you're white, here's your healthcare card. But I'm digressing. There was evil on both sides, and I recorded about a 30-minute episode yesterday before I hit the news, and the reason I'm calling it fake news, I don't know. It was a hectic day, but the local Fox CBS affiliate picked me up. I know people that work there, that decent people, good people, but they sort of stopped me after my interview, after I finished with the protesters and finished my interview, which is below the media player. Please check it out so that you can get the entire story, because once this came out on the web and then, actually hit the news cycle, I literally couldn't get into my office today without three people sort of being miffed at me about they were under the impression that I was protesting. The report had me listed as a participant, just like all the other protesters. When they would give their name, they would put participant underneath. I wasn't participating. I was no more a participant than Miss Mackey was, of CBS 59 and Fox 59 WVNS. If I was a participant, she was a participant. I'm assuming, because I was just there to find out were there any Antifa people in my neighborhood? First of all, I didn't see any masks. It was a peaceful protest, and the clip that was used on the air was actually me praising the protesters for a peaceful protest. To her credit, she did say we were not on the same page. And she also, let me quote and say, I gave a really good America come together. I guess I guess that was kind of my point. We need to come together. I said in my last episode, I want to try to get away from the right and left paradigm. I'm looking at a deeper drive than, somebody has a leftist ideology or somebody has a right-leaning ideology. I want to find the shadows, and I'm kind of glad I was misrepresented in a way and misquoted, because by the way, on the web, I said that's I am quoted as part of the quote is West Virginians are basically expressing their opinions, speaking their minds, and that's what makes America great, whether I agree with them or not. Well, in the article she put, that's what makes West Virginia great. Well, mountaineers are always free. They are, and that's what makes West Virginia great. But I just came away from these people believing that they were unpaid protesters, and I'm only going to go with one, because, and I mention it later on in the episode, but I'm just going to mention it again. Usually when a protest happens and you see printed material, actually professional printed material, traditionally that indicates that there's some type of political action group out there. And so usually the handler will present themselves if you come in asking the wrong questions. And so she clearly presented herself as the handler. So I said something to the effect of, "Are you the A-team leader?" or something like that. And she immediately said, "Yeah." So the news, the Register Herald, had her listed actually as the organizer, but in the video you're going to see underneath this podcast, she kind of tries to back away from it. I do apologize, the audio isn't the greatest, but it is 8 minutes that proves I was not protesting. I was not a participant. I just came in and wanted to, to discuss. If anything, I was a participant in an anti-protest, but I wasn't protesting. Everybody has a right to speak their opinion. So I wasn't going to be like Antifa and come in and thug and bully. At one point, she does make the statement in the video that I'm yelling at people. I wasn't yelling. I just was elevating my voice. I don't think that anybody who has ever listened to these podcasts believe that I have an overpowering voice. So I did have a little bit of elevation because, there was a little bit of volume going on there at that point. At one point, when they first asked me who I am, I go to explain who I am, and she literally looks over and tells them, "Go on ahead." So they start back up protesting. And, hey, God bless America, but it just kind of following who this person is. The Register Herald credited Alexandra Gallo as the leader, the organizer, and she was sort of the person that presented herself to me. So at that point, I started looking a little more into, well, who is Miss Gallo? And one of the first things I ask in my podcast, one of the first things that I ask in my interview with them is, who's from West Virginia? Are you all from West Virginia? Now, Miss Gallo, I don't know how long she's been in the state, but she is from Pennsylvania. She was born and raised in Pennsylvania. So apparently she's was not born and raised in the Mountain State, but she was the first person to yell, "We're all from West Virginia." So, hey, if you moved here, Miss Gallo, and you are a mountaineer now, hey, that's cool. But I have the issue that I have, the biggest issue I have, that is that I also asked, and I do have you on film, I have you on video saying nobody's paid. Nobody's here to protest, and get paid for it. But the biggest issue with that is that you work for the West Virginia Citizens Action Group, Miss Gallo. And so, once I learned this, and I took you for a teacher. That's what I thought maybe you were. I thought maybe you were an educator. You obviously are very intelligent. You obviously are good at what you do, but you get paid to do it. So you're a professional. So you were there, and it sort of bothers me. I'm going to go ahead and go into your profile that you have on the West Virginia Citizens Action Group website under staff, and I have a link to that underneath the media player. From her biography, Alexandra joined the West Virginia Citizens Action Group as a development director in November of 2016. Alexandra was born and raised in a suburb of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Health Science from James Madison University. Alexandra has focused her career on fundraising, increasing civic engagement, and sustained community participation through issue-based advocacy. Now, she began her career with Clean Water Action in New Jersey, where she organized to protest clean land, air, and drinking water. And since moving to West Virginia, Alexandra has worked as campaign staff director for Our Vote, Our Future, and as a field, also a field organizer for West Virginia Free. She's a proud member of the NAACP, the Tuesday Morning Group, and the Kiwanis Club. She serves on the steering committee for the Our Children, Our Future campaign, and also is a board member of the West Virginia Interfaith Refugee Ministry. So that is a lot of hats, and it's a lot of acronyms to keep track of. You're a very busy person, but the thing that bothers me is that some of these organizations that I want to get this episode out tonight, so I'm going to link through as many as I actually can, and I will edit and amend as I run across new things, update this podcast. But the Clean Water Action is linked through Soros through America Votes. And so there is a link to Soros funding. But